How is it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far, but I'm here to bring you guys a special Tokyo Ghoul related video. Now, as many of you guys are already aware of, the scheduling right now for the manga of Tokyo Ghoul is kind of out of whack right now. Saturdays are no longer the days where we are expecting the manga chapters now coming out on Tuesday, but with this shakeup, I wanted to deliver you guys this special video, and this is actually coming by request from one of my subscribers, and this is from Rebecca Starlight, who asked if I can make a video based around Rio because this character within the manga has yet to actually be introduced in a way, but this character is actually from a video game based on Tokyo Ghoul. So unless you are just reading the manga of Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul and haven't really delved into other Tokyo Ghoul material like the light novels or the video games based on this franchise, you would be unaware on who Rio is, who this character is, and how it ties it all into the manga with Shikorae's character, because this is a mystery unless you just read Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul. So I took it upon myself to actually do some research on the character of Rio and Shikorae, basically come up with analysis comparing these two, why they're so drastically different, and why Ashita is now having this crossover type character making its way from the video game into the manga series. And with this video, we're going to go into all about Rio within the Tokyo Ghoul Jail video game, the story, the plot points, and what basically happens to Rio's character, and then how this all pertains to Shikorae currently within the Tokyo Ghoul manga. So let's start off with talking about Tokyo Ghoul Jail. So I feel like a lot of people within the Tokyo Ghoul community are very unfamiliar with the storyline of this video game, because unless you lived in Japan and owned a PS Vita, that's the only way you were able to play this video game. It's only available in Japan and can only be played on the PS Vita. So the storyline, or the main story for this video game, is basically that it takes place in between the 6-month time skip in between volumes 8 and 9 of Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul. And during this, it gives the whole backstory about Rio is basically being framed for this crime of this Ghoul Jail, got captured by investigators, and is currently being held within Koklia, the prison for ghouls. And during the whole Ogiri tree raid, Kaneki getting tortured, and we know that that was all a diversion for Eto and Tatsura to go to Koklia and actually, raid the prison. And it was during this raid that Rio was actually able to escape this prison, wanders the streets, ending up coming across Enteku, meeting the whole gang of like Toka, Mr. Yoshimura, Nishiki, all the gang, even Tsukiyama, basically all these characters, and then eventually comes across Kaneki as he's looking for clues on this ghoul known as Jail, and eventually teams up with Kaneki because both of their interests within this non-canon story falls into place where they're looking for this ghoul named Jail. Now, the reason I'm saying that this is possibly a non-canon story is due to the fact that there are certain plot points and events that take place in this video game that wouldn't really tie in all too well with both Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul the manga story. And one of those being actually the character of Kijima. Kijima actually is in this video game, even though we see him getting introduced in Tokyo Ghoul during the whole Rosewald Tsukiyama operation, and then ends up getting killed by Matsume during that operation. But in this video game, Rio has the opportunity to actually kill Kijima, so this storyline ends up being non-canon, because if Kijima ended up dying during the Jail video game, it wouldn't really make sense if this story tied into the overall story of Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul. So basically with this video game, Rio is a ghoul that you end up taking the controls over, and you get to explore, the world of like Tokyo Ghoul. You get to explore all of the wards. You work at Enteku. You get to, talk with Nishiki, Toka, Yoshimura, even Kaneki. And what's interesting about this game is that it introduces the concept of, different type Kagunes for Rio. And the reason I'm saying this is because it actually asks you personal questions based on your character, and based on the answers you give while you're like talking with Uta, this actually forms your character's Kagune and mask type. Now, if you actually look at this picture that's going to be up on the screen right now, these are the 4 types of Kagune based on the questions that you end up answering that Rio can actually take within Tokyo Ghoul Jail. You can have a Rinkaku, and each mask for each Kagune is different. So top left, we have Rinkaku, then we have Ukaku on the top right, bottom left, Bikaku, and then on the bottom right, Kokaku. And as you can tell, each mask for each of your Kagune is in fact different. And this is where the tie-ins start to come into play with Tokyo Ghoul because if you go to chapter 38 of Tokyo Ghoul right here you can see Heise, when he's in Uta's shop, holding up Rio's Rinkaku mask. And then 2 chapters later, we have the introduction of Shikorae, which honestly right there, you should just see the tie-ins that Ishida was just foreshadowing that he was going to have this crossover character, as he likes to mention with Shikorae, about to be introduced. And it's at this point where the theories and speculation started to come about that maybe Shikorae was in fact Rio. And the fact that the cover book for Tokyo Ghoul Jail, when you take off the cover, reveals Shikorae's character, that right there puts 2 and 2 together, that Rio and Shikorae start to become, you know, more similar and possibly the same character. But another interesting trait also with Rio's character is the fact that his Kakugan, when he activates it, it produces jail-like bars for the veins that get produced from his ghoul eyes. And the same thing can actually be said for Shikorae's character as well. So right here is where we start to see more of the connections with both Rio and Shikorae's characters, where both of their Kakugans, you know, have those weird type veins, and they have the possibilities of having multiple Kagunes. But continuing on with the story of Rio's character, he is searching for a ghoul nicknamed Jail that ended up murdering his brother. And what's also very odd as well is that Rio's nickname in the video game is also Jail, based on the garb that he wears, but then also the Kakugan veins that get produced by his eyes when he activates his ghoul eyes. But the ending of this story is actually kind of pretty dark, because it ends up being, you know, revealed that Rio was looking for himself the entire time within this video game, because he was in fact the killer that ended up killing this mass of investigators as soon as he saw his brother getting slaughtered by a whole bunch of CCG investigators. So that right there also shows that Rio's character is very broken psychologically and mentally, because he had this mental breakdown witnessing his brother die and then activating, you know, his Kagune, whether it be multiple or not within the video game, but then also not remembering at all and pushing that memory back to where he just did not know who murdered his brother and who murdered all those investigators, and was in fact looking for himself the entire time. So that is basically Rio's character in a nutshell. Again, I don't have too much information to actually go on, because as for me, I have not played the video game, so I actually can't give like in-depth analysis for his character. This is just information I'm able to actually get off of the internet and the Wikipedia page for Tokyo Ghoul Jail. So if any of you guys actually have more information on Rio's character within the video game of Tokyo Ghoul Jail and have played it, feel free to leave comments down below. But at this point, I want to make the shift over to Shikorae's character and just kind of like talk about the vast differences just in the character design, but then also the similarities as well with their characters. So talking about Shikorae's character within Tokyo Ghoul Re, he gets introduced in chapter 40 of Tokyo Ghoul Re, and over the course of the next, 20, 40, 100 chapters so far that we've kind of gone from that chapter, we've gotten a lot of hints and a lot of clues leading to the reveal of him actually having the nickname and alias of Rio and having this connection of these two characters. But throughout the story so far, we have noticed that he is a chimera ghoul. He has multiple type Kagunes, and he is the character that has the most so far that has ever been revealed. All other ghouls that have been chimeras have at least 2 type of Kagunes, but he is different. He has at least 3, possibly 4, which is very similar to the possibilities for Rio in Tokyo Ghoul Jail. So these pictures right here show him showing off his different type of Kagunes. So we have the Kokaku, the blade on his arm. We have the Ukaku, basically the wings sprouting from his back. And then we also have the Bikaku, the tail sprouting basically from his tailbone. But we have not yet to see his Rinkaku Kagune. And I bring up this picture right now because with the cliffhanger of Ure right now within chapter 134, we don't know if this is Roma, we don't know if this is Rio / Shikorae, or if this is a new character entirely. But based on the amount of Kagunes being produced here, it looks like a Rinkaku. And I believe Roma is also a Rinkaku user, so this could be Roma, this could be the reveal of Shikorae's or Rio's 4th Kagune type, or this could be the character dragon that has yet to be introduced yet. I just wanted to bring this up right here because this is actually very interesting and just getting revealed within the latest chapter of not only Rio being Shikorae, but maybe the 4th Kagune type of Shikorae, which I would find to be very, very cool. But this picture right here is basically just to demonstrate the vertical lines from his Kakugan being activated, and it just goes to show the similarities again from Rio's description, but then also having Shikorae within this manga. So this character of Shikorae, Ishida has basically blatantly said that this is a crossover character, and I've mentioned that earlier in this video. And the reason I'm saying this is because Ishida was responsible for creating the character Rio and the storyline for Tokyo Ghoul Jail. And then since that is kind of a non-canon story, Shikorae's character, when he was forming it for Tokyo Ghoul Re, took a lot of, Rio's designs maybe, the inspirations behind that character, and incorporated them into Shikorae. You can definitely tell that he's got the vertical jail-like bars for Kakugan veins. And I have no idea too, based on, Shikorae's character, the way he acts and thinks, he's very odd. He's a very odd character. He kind of speaks with emojis, with different signals and signs, and he's very scatterbrained. So I have no idea if he actually was like Rio back during the time of volumes 8 and 9, if he actually was sane and actually could talk normally. I have no idea what happened to him during the 3-part time skip, if he was like that in the beginning of part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul Re, just in the background, away from the main story. But we don't know if Eto tortured him or if this is what he experienced in the Cochlea prison. We have no idea, but Rio Shikorae, he's a messed up character. He's actually a fun character for me. And this just goes to show that Ishida is just so good at foreshadowing and taking a character from, a non-canon story of a video game and incorporating them and actually kind of making them a little bit more interesting and better for his story in Tokyo Ghoul Re. So this is my quick little video on the comparisons of Rio and Shikorae as characters. I find that Rio and Shikorae revealed to be very, very satisfying for so many reasons. And I know a lot of people have theories going left and right about Shikorae being Rio from Tokyo Ghoul Jail. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on Shikorae as a character, but also if you guys have played the jail video game, give me your thoughts on Rio as a character, because since I have been unable to play it, I actually don't know what his character acts like. I don't know his personality. I just know what I'm based on research from the Tokyo Ghoul wiki. So if you guys have any information on that, leave that in the comments as well, and let me know what you guys think of the whole Rio is Shikorae, reveal in the latest chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Re. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I'm really looking forward to the next chapter and the next chapters to come for Tokyo Ghoul Re. So I just can't wait for it. So until then, until the next either review or live reaction that comes up on my channel for Tokyo Ghoul Re, I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.